Hi everyone, my name is Shitish, and today we are going to see how can we actually launch a simple web app by utilizing the AWS EC2 instances. So as you can see on the screen, I've got the AWS web app opened. So I'm gonna click, I'm already signed in here, as you can see. So I'll just select sign into console. I'll select root user and add my email address. I'll type in my password. I will enter the MFA code. Alright, once I do that, I should be logged into my console. And here we are. So what we're gonna do is we can either go to the search bar here and type it EC2, which is virtual servers in the cloud. We can select from here, or we can also see that my recently visited services appear in this card here. So I can just click on EC2 and we should be onto the EC2 page. EC2 basically stands for Elastic Compute Cloud, and these are virtual servers present in the cloud. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on EC2 from the search bar above, and it should be open in about a few minutes. All right. We can go and select instances, and as we can see that there are no instances here. At the top right corner we see United States Oregon selected here, but this is a region selection or availability zone selection. So basically we have these many regions here available for us to choose. So any resource that we create are going to be created in these particular regions. Each regions have each region has a few availability zones into it. Availability zones basically are nothing but a group of data centers where the actual physical infrastructure is present. We are here on the AWS console just creating the services. Uh, I'm sorry, just using the services and creating the resources on the physical infrastructure there. So I'm gonna select Asia Pacific as I'm in India. Let it load. And as we can see, we've got one server here running already, which is nice. Um, what we are gonna do is that let me give you a small brief about the page that we are seeing right now. At the left side of the screen, we have a lot of options for the Elastic Compute Cloud. In the instances section, we can see the number of instances that are already provisioned. In the instance type section, we can also see what was the type of the instance we used and how many instance type we have available in AWS, as you can see here. If we select launch templates, we can simplify and standardize instance launches, which means that every time we create an EC2, we do not need to set up it from the ground up. We can just utilize these launch templates, and automatically a few of the setting and resources will be present when we launch a new EC2. Then we've got an images sections. There are a few more options here. We might cover them in later sections. This is the images tab, which is having AMIs. AMIs stand for Amazon Machine Images. These are basically the image of the operating system that we're going to use in the instance. Then we've got EBS, which stands for Elastic Block Store. Within that, we've got volumes. This is basically the storage options that we have. As we can see, we've got this volume, which is a type of GP3, and the size of it is 8 gigabytes. IOPS, input output per second operations, uh, are limited to 3K here. And this volume is being utilized. If I select that, we can see that it's in use, and yeah, that's about it. We can go to the attached resources. We can see the instance name, which is this instance ID with the name of it there. Snapshots are basically the backups of these volumes. Currently, we do not have anyone. Amazon Data Lifecycle Manager helps us to automate the creation, retention, and copying and deletion of snapshots and AMIs. Then we've got another important thing, which is network and security. Really, really important tab. We can see that we've got a few security groups. SG stands for security group, and then the ID followed by the ID. So we have got one for the VPC group, as you can see in the description, and then we've got another security group for the launch wizard, which is the security group for the instance that we have created. Then we've got elastic IPs. These are public IPs that we have from the Amazon pool. We've got placement groups. We've got key pairs. I'll go through it. This is basically the key pair when we use to create an EC2 instance. We utilize these key pairs for security and SSH provisioning. SSH stand for secure shell login. So using a key pair, we can securely log into our server, and it also protects our server from unauthorized access. Network interfaces is basically how do we use the server that we have provisioned to be able to connect to the internet, and the network resources that we might create via VPC. So as you can see, the network interface ID here is this. ENI stands for Elastic Network Interface, followed by the ID of the interface. Then another important tab that we have is load balancing. We've got load balancer. Basically, load balancers are used to distribute the traffic that is incoming uh, to our EC2 instances. So as you can see, I've got one load balancer already provisioned. It's not necessarily something to be provisioned when we provision our um, EC2 instance, but it's always a good idea to have a load balancer so that one instance is not overburdened by the traffic that is incoming to it. We've got auto scaling groups as well. So auto scaling groups are a really important service provided by Amazon. It helps to maintain the availability of our applications. And what do we mean by that is basically we can set up an auto scaling group which actually scales in and out according to the internet traffic that is coming towards our EC2. So it creates more EC2 instances when there's more traffic, and it reduces the number of EC2 instances when the traffic is low. In this way, it ensures that our applications are always available. All right. So without further ado, let's go to the instances tab back. And as you can see in the top right corner within the instances section, we've got a button for launch instances highlighted in amber. So we're going to select it, and boom, there's a wizard that opens up. It asks for the name. We can say that it's a test server, and then it asks for the AMIs or operating system images, Amazon machine image. What we are going to do is we are going to select Ubuntu, and we are going to select 24.04 LTS. We'll keep the architecture to be 64-bit. The next thing that we have is we are going to define what should be our instance type. So currently it's set for T3 micro. What we are going to do is we are going to select T3 small from here. The reason for that is that it has 2 GB of memory. Or for demonstration purposes, let's take to T3 micro actually. Sorry, that's T2 micro. We wanted T3 micro. All right, and you can see that it gives us a description of what type of instance it is. It's got 2 virtual CPUs, 1 GB of memory, and it's a current generation type. And yeah, this is the pricing per hour for this type of instance. Now you can see that we discussed about key pairs. So the next step is having a key pair which helps us to log in to the EC2. So right now we do have one, but what we're going to do is actually we're going to create a new key pair. We'll enter a name of this key pair. We'll select RSA and we'll keep it .pem, which is used for OpenSSH module. In case we are creating a Windows operating system and we are going to SSH to that operating system using Windows as well, then we can select .ppk here. But for the meantime, we are going to select .pem as the extension of the key, and we are going to create key. As you can see, we've got the test key here. If I click on open, this is how it actually looks, as you can see. All right, once we have our key pair, we have selected the test key here. That's good. The next thing is network settings. It has already selected the default VPC. No subnet is selected right now. We will make sure that auto assign of public IP is enabled, and we are going to create a new security group here so that we can define what would be the incoming and outgoing traffic from this instance. So allow SSH traffic, we're going to select it from anywhere. This allows to easily connect ourselves from this EC2 instance from any IP address. We are also going to allow HTTP traffic from the internet, which opens the port 8080 of this EC2 instance. We'll keep the rest of the things set as default. Now, if you can see on the right side, we have the summary of all the things that we have selected. We are going to select launch instance. Let's wait until it's provisioned. And voila, that's how you actually launch an EC2 instance. We can click on this link to see the instance. And this is the instance ID. This is the IPv4 address, public IPv4 address that we will use to access it, any application that is hosted upon it. And we can also see that the instance state is currently running. That's amazing. Um, that's the first step done on the infrastructure part of the things. The next step is to actually install all the libraries, the software, and of course our code so that we can host the application here. We're going to select from the right hand side the connect button. Once we do that, it gives us a few options to connect to the EC2. We are going to select EC2 Instance Connect. We'll keep things as default and select Connect. This opens on a new tab, a secure shell. Here we are. And as you can see here, this is the internal IP address with our username as Ubuntu connected to the EC2 instance. So we can type in one command to see if we are running on the same thing. Okay. Okay. So the first step is we are going to install Node.js into it. So the command for doing that process is this. Hmm. Let me see why it is giving me this error. Okay. So apt install. Perfect. We'll select Y. And right now it's installing Node.js onto our server. And it's done. The next thing that we're going to install is npm, which stands for Node Package Manager. It allows us to install the libraries that we need on our Node.js based application. So let's do that. Let's wait for it to install. And we've got both of the things installed. Let's check if we have Git available. And we can type this command to check for that. Yes, we do have Git available. So we are going to clone one repository from my GitHub. Let me ensure that I have that set up. So let's wait and see. Let me get the HTTP link for that repository. 1 second. Here it is. and I'm going to press enter. It's going to create a new directory called blogs and clone the entire code from GitHub to there. And it's already done. So if we type in this command, we'll see a directory called blogs. We can get inside this directory by using the command cd and then typing the name of the directory. Let's see the contents in this directory, and we've got all the code that we would want. So the main app file is called app.js, which is the first file present right now. So just to ensure that we have the app code running on the port that we have opened when we were configuring our EC2 instance, I'm going to open this file, which is app.js. Gonna go down to the last line, and we can see that it's listening on port 3000. We are going to change that to 80. The next thing is we are going to save this and close it. Let's see if the app is running, and it says the app is up on port 80. uh, a few minutes back I told you that we access the app on this EC2 instance using the public IP. So this is the IP. I'm gonna open a new tab. I'm gonna hit enter, and let's see if this app opens up. And here we go, the app is now up on this port. And this is a simple way of actually configuring a brand new server using AWS, installing the code onto that EC2 instance by using SSH, and then accessing our website by hosting it upon that EC2 instance. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you in another session. Thank you.